Everyone can have a seat. Welcome to the 2021 Senior Sports Awards ceremony. On behalf of the Elmwood Park Athletic Department, coaches and student athletes, we would like to thank Superintendent Mr. Iachetti, Assistant Superintendent Ms. Sorrento, District Administration, Dr. Warner, Mr. Samuels, and the Board of Education for your continued support and passion for Elmwood Park athletics. 2020-2021 was a season of true change. Attestation forms, temperature checks, masks, sanitizing, and many more that I can mention. The one thing that didn't change was the unwavering or endless support for athletics from our teachers, the EP community, and most of all, the parents. We had to rely on the integrity of our families, staff, and athletes to protect and look after one another. Our student athletes worked together as true teammates, kept a positive outlook, and took full advantage of their opportunities this season. On this night, we will be honoring them for their amazing accomplishments and for remaining strong during an incredibly challenging year. Individual success does not come without a support system. It is always referenced in team sports that there is no I in team. This is particularly true when it comes to all of our coaches and our administration. Without all of us working together as a team and being role models for the student athletes, this year would not have been possible. This evening, we will honor our student athletes who have achieved many great accomplishments. Lastly, I would like to thank our student athletes for doing a remarkable job of balancing their athletics, academics, family responsibilities, and social lives during an exceptionally challenging year. If something stands between you, you move it. That's what you've done this year. You've moved all obstacles out of the way. Without you, there is no #Crusader Nation. Now I'd like to bring up Dr. Warner, principal of the high school, for congratulatory remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Basil. And thank you all for coming out here this evening. It's important that we're able to get together. And this is, the second sort of major event that we've had as a school and community of coming back together and celebrating one another, honoring our students and athletes. And I'm really happy that you all could be here tonight and that I could be here with you. So thank you. And I know it sounds like cliche a little bit, but there's a saying or a phrase that you sort of don't know what you've got until it's gone. And last spring, that happened out of nowhere. And with athletics, it's interesting that you usually have a 4-year career, and then you graduate, and then you kind of look back, and the things that happened are viewed fondly, or some of the things that practices or games maybe are not viewed so fondly. But you were so proud to be a part of that and have had those experiences. And like I said, oftentimes it happens once you're gone and your athletic career is done. And for those athletes in the spring last year, it was taken from you, and you didn't sit back and just accept it. There were things that needed to change and had to change in order for us to continue with athletics and our program here. And so I want to congratulate you and thank you for everything that you guys did as student athletes, as coaches, as the athletic trainer, as in the entire athletic department, our buildings and grounds, our custodians, our secretarial staff, our bus drivers. There are so many people that went into sort of making the athletic season happen, in the summer. And we started back, in the summer, very differently as Mr. Basil described. And the one thing I can say is that everyone was so responsible. Everyone was so receptive to making these adjustments and changes, because we saw what we had lost, and we needed to do that so that we can get back to doing what we all love to do on the fields or courts or wherever it might be. So we learned a lot, and we got better. And you know, the fall season, there were ups and downs, and it was a different time, you know, in the fall as well, as in terms of the world and everything that was happening. And we learned, we made changes, we adjusted, and the winter season happened. And you know, it was so successful that we were even, you know, honored in the Bergen Record. The basketball programs were the first school in the county to reach and play the 15-game, you know, season without any stoppages, without any shutdowns. So it's a credit not only to the basketball program, but just everyone in general, because it extended way beyond that. It was everyone working together to keep the season going and be responsible. And same thing in the spring. I mean, just seamlessly transitioned to still going on a successful season 1 spring and season 2 spring for the first time ever. So again, congratulations to the athletes for everything that you put in to make that happen. And Mr. Basil, you touched on it, you stole my words a little bit. The one constant throughout this whole, you know, 15 months or whatever it's been, has been athletics. And athletics provided an escape for a lot of us for what was going on. It allowed us to focus on bettering ourselves, on bettering our teammates, on, you know, understanding one another in ways that we may have not before. The camaraderie and interaction from the isolation of the shutdowns and lockdowns and all of that happened was needed in such a big way, and athletics provided that. And finally, it allowed you, as athletes and coaches, to do what you crave to do, and that's compete and win. And we did a lot of that, you know, in every season, and had some great successes, a lot of first-time, you know, things within the athletic program. So I congratulate you for a great season, and I know that we're wrapping up the spring right now, and hopefully we'll get some more wins in the coming days. So thank you all again for being here. I look forward to hearing everyone speak and honoring our students tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Warner. Next up, we'll have one of our special awards, which will be the Boys Scholar Athlete Award, given by Coach Kevin Toohey.
Okay, the recipient of the Male Scholar Athlete Award is a young man who is one of the hardest working students who I've ever coached. His great work ethic puts him on a level of maturity that is rare in students today. The student is a motivated, dedicated, and respectful athlete that I've had the pleasure of coaching the past 4 years. He demonstrates qualities of a true role model for his fellow teammates and classmates. He's a leader both on and off the court, and is committed to his sport as he is to his academics. This student is ranked 16th in his class with a GPA of 3.9. In the fall, he plans to attend Rutgers, New Brunswick, majoring in aerospace engineering. It is my pleasure to present the Male Scholar Athlete Award to G. Patel.
G. Patel cannot be here tonight to accept his award, so Coach Toohey will be accepting it on his behalf. Next award is the Girls Scholar Athlete Award, presented by Coach Michelle Mattia.
As a student athlete, it goes without saying your responsibilities off the field are even more important than those on the field. Speaking from experience, juggling sports with high school achievement academics is no simple task. It requires a strong work ethic that may lead to late nights, tiring days, and maybe even some tears as you push through to be at your best. In you, Fatima, I see these qualities. You have pushed yourself this season to manage multiple AP classes, achieve third highest GPA in your class, and also be involved as an active member of our softball team. There were definite times where things got tough for you, but after some encouragement, you pushed through your classes, exams, and season successfully. I am so proud of all of your accomplishments, and I know you will continue to achieve in your studies and as a leader upon graduation. I want to leave you with a quote by a former baseball player, Bob Feller. Every day is a new opportunity. You can build on yesterday's success or put its failures behind and start over again. That's the way life is, with a new game every day, and that's the way baseball, or in this case, softball is. Best of luck and congratulations on all of your academic achievements thus far.
Next, we will go into the team presentations. First up, we will have Coach Elke Voigt for girls volleyball.
Okay, good evening. Welcome administration, parents, senior athletes, and congratulations to the class of 2021. First of all, I just can't thank Mr. Basil, Ms. Cardone, of course, Ms. Labianco, Coach Cannon. It wasn't easy navigating us coaches or athletes through this unfortunate year, but you did it, and we're truly grateful for all your hard work. To Coach Cannon, it was a pleasure coaching with you for the first year. Hopefully there's many more. And this year our season started off in August, and we started off on the football field, and Coach Cannon was in the end zone and I was at the 50-yard line, and the girls were spread out beyond belief, and you know, we were trying to like get a workout in, and it was just so different with the masks, the temperatures, and then we got to go in the gym, and then Ms. Labianco came down and gave us the news that our season was going to be postponed to season 3. And I thought, oh, you know, gee, I hope we get the, you know, season 3 in. What is season 3? Where it's just like mushed between winter and spring, and don't do the math, but this was like the first fall season that I didn't coach or play volleyball since like 1982, but don't do the math, so just leave it at that. And these young ladies, you know, Brittany, Veronica, and Rosandy, you know, I just kept in touch with them. We kept like sending text messages with a lot of hope that we were going to get our season in, and we did. We started March 1st. Every day was a different day. We didn't know, you know, who was playing and what school was going to be shut down, but we just came in every day and we just worked hard. And I'm truly grateful for their dedication, and they were truly wonderful young ladies to coach. I would like to introduce our 3 seniors, Brittany Rivas, Come on up. Rosandy Camacho. Just a little bit about these seniors. I've known them for 4 years. This year, Rosandy Camacho was named first team All-League, and Brittany Rivas was named second team All-League. We tried to make the best of their senior year. We had a lot of fun, and I'm sure you guys can think of 2 outstanding games out of our 5. We had a whole 5 games this year. But in the state tournament, if you ever saw Brittany Rivas block this young lady from Park Ridge, it was just like goosebumps. Like it was just wham bam back in her face, and it was wonderful. She's like, "Is this on YouTube?" I'm like, "Yeah, you can do your, it's on YouTube, I guess." I mean, I don't know. YouTube was it? I don't know. Whatever. I am dating myself. I actually wrote my speech too, as Coach told me. I write still. So, but anyway, I'm really proud to have been coaching these young ladies. You're smart, you're beautiful, you have everything ahead of you. You know, dream big, come back and visit, and I wish you all the best. So please come back and visit. Thank you.
Thank you, girls volleyball. Next up, we have Coach Kelly Kisnick with cross country.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here to talk about my 6 seniors on our cross-country team this year. I think everyone has a love-hate relationship with running, especially when it's your entire sport. Due to the restrictions this year, every meet was held at Garrett Mountain. For those of you who are not familiar with Garrett Mountain, you literally finish a 3-mile race going uphill for 800 meters. When you cross that finish line, it's like happiness, pain, hate, and pride all rolled together into one. So here's to my hardworking seniors. Vanya, congratulations for being selected as the Elmwood Park Memorial High School NJSIA Scholar Athlete. Vanya has been with us for a year. Vanya has been with us for years now, and I will always remember Vanya for her heart and dedication. I watched Vanya grow as an athlete and into a wonderful young woman who I will miss. Will, one of the most valued additions to our cross-country team. Congratulations on receiving second team All-League. Will brought excitement to our team. Between his competitive nature, his confidence, his fierce motivation, being able to run 3 miles in just 17 minutes, and all that he accomplished in just 2 short seasons. To name a few, Will placed 4th in our league, 7th in counties, received first team All-League, and qualified for the Bergen Meet of Championship. I will miss trying to chase Will and cheering him on throughout his whole race. Alex. Alex has been with us from the start. Alex was the type of athlete who never gave up and always went above and beyond to succeed. Alex would always take the longer route at practice, sometimes running 1 to 2 miles more than everyone else. When we had to end, when our season ended short, like quickly, Alex made me very proud as I saw that he continued to run several miles every day on his own. Myzier, this was his first and only year running cross country. I have to admit I'm a little bummed because Myzier is a very talented athlete who I would have loved to coach for 4 seasons. He jumped right in and was able to keep up with the front of the pack. Brittany, one of our volleyball girls, who was able to join our team last minute. I thought it was very brave of her to join cross country her senior year, and we were very grateful to have her. The volleyball girls brought a great deal of encouragement to our team. Cross country is a very unique sport. It can become very individualized as runners focus on their personal best times. Yet my favorite part is when athletes just about fall across the finish line and get right back up to cheer their teammates on. This was the most interesting and challenging season yet, but everyone pushed through and worked together to make it a great year. I'm sure all of our seniors are truly going to miss running hills up Orchard Street, repeated timed miles, running around town, and pushing through the last mile of their race. I'm so thankful my seniors were able to compete this year, and I wish everyone the best of luck. Thank you. So let's see, Vanya, Alex, Myzier, and Brittany, oh, and Will's here.
Thank you, cross country. Next up, we have girls basketball, Coach Tom Cannon and Coach Monkey Boyd. I'll bring it down a little bit. Thank you, Ms. Basil. First of all, I'd like to thank the Board of Education, Dr. Warner, Mr. Basil, Ms. LaBianco. Actually, a special thank you to Ms. LaBianco for just keeping all of our girls in check, making sure all of the forms were filled out, making sure all of our masks were on, and it really helped keep our season, going. No, really, thank you, because we got 14 games. We got 14 games. And I know Coach Cooley didn't put up there and go, well, we got 15, and we were in the paper, but yeah, we got 14. All right? We ended up going, just on a team perspective, we ended up going 10-4. We were division champions. First time the Elmwood Park girls basketball team has won anything since 1979, they said in the paper. So we were pretty successful this year. We were a top 23 team in North Jersey, according to NG.com. All of our losses came to top 25 teams. So we didn't waste any games, any losses. Those are called quadrant 1 losses in the NCAA tournament. But really, just the ability for the girls to follow protocols, keep themselves safe, come to practice every day, do the right things. That was the real win in the season. Forget about the wins and forget about the personal accolades, but really just the ability to get a season was great. We had 4 girls make all division first team. We had 2 girls make all division second team. And one of those girls was Shania Ramos, my senior, who I will get to in a second. But I wanted to talk to Michelle Montiel real quick. Michelle didn't get to play for the team this year because she was injured, which was a real downer for us because she's one of our leaders. Not only is she a leader, I got to know her through National Honor Society. She is the definition of a scholar athlete.
okay? She does all the right things. She does all the right things, and I know Coach is going to talk, Coach Press is going to talk about her in a little bit, so I'm not going to trample over anything he has to say. But she's, you know, a great person to have on any team, and she's going to be a great person moving forward. So I wish her the very best. Thank you, Michelle. We missed you. We really missed you, Michelle. Another thing about Michelle. Michelle, were you like 5'3", 5'4"? She was our leading rebounder the 2 years she played. 5'1"? Okay, leading rebounder the 2 years she played. So there you go. That's how tough she is, too. Thank you, Michelle. So getting to Shania. Shania Ramos was the senior who played for me this year. Shania is a 4-year program player. So she was in the program before I came and helped me kind of transition into being the girls basketball coach. She kind of kept the values from before and kind of instilled the values that I want to do, so I really appreciate her helping me transition into the program. She's a foundational player. So she saw the program for what it was and for what it is now, and hopefully what it can be in the future. You know, I hope she comes back and visits and sees what she's built, because that's really what it's about. It's not about coaches. It's about players and kind of the values that you go forward with. So Shania was a big part of that. She was one of the second team all-league players, so she did have an individual accolade. And she'll always have a special place for me, because she was always real tough, and she showed up to everything, and she never asked for much. You know, she never asked for more playing time. She never asked for more you know, compliments from anybody. She just worked hard, gave you everything she had at every moment, and she's going to be missed. I hope we can have another Shania in the program very soon. So, thank you very much.
Michelle Montiel, come up, please. Thank you, Coach Cannon, girls basketball. Next up, we have softball, Coach Michelle Mattia. Also, assistant coaches Kevin Toohey and Deanna DeLaFave.
First, I just want to thank all of the administration, all of the teacher support. I know we have some teachers here that are also coaches, and the players for really making the most out of, you know, a really difficult season that we've had, or year that we've had in sports. I really think that, you know, we all did our best, like, despite these difficult times, and, you know, it was unfortunate, especially for a lot of the seniors, it being their last year, or maybe some, you know, we missed out on last year. So, you know, everybody really, you know, had a great effort and, you know, really showed up when you needed to and did a fantastic job. Also, Ms. Labianco, for all of your help, constant help. It's been, you know, you've done so much, and we can't thank you enough for that. Okay, so I have a one and only senior this year, so I think she knows who's getting a shout out here. Fatima, thank you for being one of the most dedicated and hardworking players that we've had in our softball program. Although I've only really had the pleasure of coaching you this year, I know that you've been an integral part of Elmwood Park softball the past few years. You are quiet but mighty, and I've seen such a progression in you over the course of the season, both in your confidence and your playing ability. You've also picked up quite an art for bunting, which has helped us in multiple game situations. You're a true team player who has always brought a positive attitude to game situations. You consistently kept pushing forward to do your best and learn from your mistakes. That's the type of attitude that is really important to have as a team player and as a person as you enter the next phase of your journey. Your willingness to learn, not being afraid to fail, and bring tenacity, which was like my favorite word of the season, to each and every practice and game will help you succeed long outside of the softball field. Best of luck at Rutgers, Fatima, and all of your future endeavors. I know you're going to shine and continue to bring that tenacity wherever your path leads. Again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to coach you this season, and I wish you the best of luck in everything that comes forth from now.
Thank you, softball team. Next up, we have competition cheerleading, Coach Katie Hackett.
Hi everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Katie Hackett, and I'm the coach for both competition and season cheer. COVID got me out of giving an in-person speech last year, so please go easy on me. My typical audience is about 9 and 10-year-olds, so adults are different. Speaking of COVID, I just want to thank everybody in this room, not only those in the cheer program, but the administration, the board, everyone involved, even parents, for making this season actually possible. Competition cheer was one of the ones that we were able to go the entire season, and even though we were in a gym and not on a mat. I just want to thank all of you for your patience and dedication to help us continue. So according to the National Federation of High School Sports, I pulled up a definition. A cheerleader has 5 responsibilities: crowd leader, spirit raiser, ambassador, athlete, and entertainer. And our girls, every single time they go on the mat, show that. They are the true definition of a cheerleader, according to the National Federation of High School Sports. So our winter season looked a lot different, as all of the girls, the 2 girls, my seniors, can attest. I'm assuming a majority of you have never been to a cheerleading competition before, but 3 words to describe it are loud, full of anxiety, and smell like a can of hairspray. All you can see is teams putting their heart and soul onto the mat for those 2.5 minutes, and you only get 1 shot to do it. This year, multiply it by 5, and just put us in a room. And I've never seen more exhaustion from a group of girls in my life. And I gotta thank you for putting up with me. And those dreaded Thursdays when we had to film, I wouldn't be able to do it anymore. Caitlin and Michaela, thank you for allowing me to coach you this year. You did everything with such grace, and I could never ask for another group of seniors like you. You were the voices of reason when I wanted to do the routine yet again, and you had to tell me no. There was no way we were gonna do it for a 6th time. You gotta stop. And thank you, and your team thanks you. And it worked out. You guys did a great job as being my assistant coaches, basically, because we did get 1st and 2nd in all the competitions we were in this year, and I'm very happy and very proud of them. And just a little thing about, if you guys want to come up, so my 2 seniors I have are Michaela Monaco and Caitlin Kidda. So Caitlin, for those of you who don't know, Caitlin is basically an adult trapped in a teenager's body. You are so wise beyond your years, it's kind of scary sometimes. At times, you basically are my assistant coach, and the girls look up to you and think so highly of you, and I'm in awe at the way you are respected. You were one of the season's captains, and even when your flyer kept slamming into your chest and knocking the wind out of you every single day, we know who she is and we're not going to name it. You still got up and tried your best no matter what, and you are such an inspiration to coach, and I cannot wait to see your future successes at Caldwell University and beyond. Michaela, I don't even know where to start with you. You are a force to be reckoned with, and you have the attitude of a champion and the determination to succeed. You always want what's best for the team, and you not only think of yourself, but the others around you. And it's very admirable. With school, work, cheer, being a captain on the team, and trying to maintain a social life, I literally just don't know how you do it. I would fold under the pressure. You are going to be an excellent children's attorney one day, and I'm so sorry we couldn't get a ring for you this year, but come back in a few years and I promise we will.
It's not the same.
Thank you, Coach Hackett, competition cheer. Next up is Mr. Doug Bender and Alexandria Burke for marching band.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Basil. Thank you, District Administration. I want to say a big thanks to the Spurs for her help this season and every season that we've had. This will be pretty short because we don't have any seniors this year. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about our season. It began with that mixture of uncertainty with COVID and excitement to finally be together again, as many of the fall sports started in the summer. Thanks to Mrs. LaBianco for taking our temperature and yelling at us for not filling out our forms. So all of our competitions were canceled this year, but our students still work just as hard to learn their music, learn their drill, and to perform during halftime at the home football games. I was really proud of how they handled the circumstances this year. The biggest news of our season was our new uniforms. So thank you for everyone that helped get those, because I think they look really great. Dr. Warner is a big part of that, Mr. Petty, and I'm sure there are plenty of other people that he may have talked to that I didn't even realize. So thank you for all your help and support in getting those. If you didn't see them, I can't wait to show you them next year when we're out at competitions and at football games again. So thank you. Congratulations to all the seniors this year for your hard work.
Thank you, Mr. Bender and Ms. Burke for marching band. Next up, we have boys soccer, Coach Marco Chung. Assistant coach,
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start by saying thank you to the Board of Ed, Mr. Basil, Ms. Fabianco, for all the help keeping us safe during the pandemic COVID-19 soccer season. Also, I would like to thank my assistant coach, Paul, for helping me during the summer workouts and during the season. As we improve our record from last year, 9-7, this year we finished 7 wins and 1 loss to the regular season. The team finished in second in our league, and we were seeded second in the state tournament. but the team had to quarantine, never got to play in the state tournament. Our goal this year was to improve our record and hopefully to win the states. I believe it was our year to win it all, but we were cut short. Every game we play with determination and desire to win games. That's how we were able to qualify for the state tournament. The team believes in the system and the style of soccer we want to play at the court. We continue to get better every year because the team believes that they can do better and the philosophy to win and to be competitive. I do see a great future in these players in winning many games and championships. Now to my seniors, if they can come up. Guys. Senior Matthew, Adrian, Michael, Sebastian, Matthew, Richard, Alex, and Albie. I just want to thank you all for your dedication and all the hard work you guys put during the practice and games. Every game you guys played, you guys gave the team 100% effort for the better of the team. When I look back, the most joyful moment for me when we played senior night. When we played with Manchester, Regional High School. It was an incredible night, especially for the seniors. I was very, very emotional to watch all the seniors play so well together that day. The way you guys were winning every 50-50 ball and how you connect passes to each other. It was so much fun to watch that game. It was a great night. I have 3 more words for my seniors. The pitchers, Alex, Matthew, Michael, Sebastian, Albie. I admire your dedication and endless efforts to be in practice, and when it's your turn to perform in games, you guys give it all. You guys inspiration to us all and your teammates. To Alien, it was wonderful to have excellent, strong player defending our team. You were so committed to be best on the field, and I was impressed. Alien is our co-captain this year. On the sideline, he will go up and down to make a play and to score, in which you did score Vinnie balls playing on that side. For his efforts, he made second team All-League. And to my captain, Matthew, I have so much respect for you. He really took the responsibility to be a leader. A captain, well-respected player in the league. Matthews did everything I wanted as a player and a captain. He makes sure that the players were equipped in games, make sure that we have all the equipment ready to go for practice, and most to keep the team united. His ability to defend well gave us a chance to win games by stopping players from scoring against us. He was our backbone in the team, and I'm going to miss you a lot. For his efforts, he made NJIC first team All-League, and also he was invited to play in the All-Star game. So once again, thank you all to my seniors, and good luck in the future. Also the team, we got your gift.
Thank you, Coach Strong, Coach Paul, for boys soccer. Next up, we have another special award. It's the Boys Crusader and Girls Crusader Award presented by Mrs. Danielle Labianco.
The Female Crusader Award goes to someone who has shown dedication to Crusader athletics over the past 4 years. I fortunately, or unfortunately for her, got to spend a lot of time with her over those years. But I got to see firsthand how passionate this young lady really is. Having battled back from not one, but 2 major injuries, her dedication to get back to EP sports was unmatched by any other athlete I've ever seen. Over the years, she showed leadership and school pride as she represented EP proudly. That second injury unfortunately caused her to miss her entire senior year, which, as Coach Cannon said, we all missed her greatly. Regardless, though, she's always been there to support EP athletics and her fellow classmates. Okay, that award goes to Michelle Montiel. The Male Crusader Award goes to an athlete who's been described by his coaches as dedicated, passionate, supportive, and very coachable. I can describe him as very responsible, relatable, and hardworking. Okay, this spring during track and field, when all of his friends decided to skip the season, he chose to stick around and stick out the season, and luckily he did because it's proven to be a successful one for him. We will definitely miss his character, and this award goes to Albie.
Thank you, Mrs. Labianco, for that.
What's our schedule kind of, what's it look like? And not having the answer to those questions is very challenging, not only as a coach, but more so as a player. And without the right group of seniors, especially, this season doesn't play out the way that it did. You know, you need kids who are really committed and dedicated. And my 6 seniors, I give them a lot of credit because they were very flexible, very adaptable, very quick to adjust and make do with the challenging times that we had. As far as this group of seniors goes, especially a select few of them, this was my 4th year in the program. So, you know, their freshman year was kind of like my freshman year as a coach. And that's always, I think all of us coaches have like a special place in your heart for that first group that you go through 4 years with and all the trials and tribulations and learning and adjusting on the go. You know, I wouldn't be in this position still if it weren't for those kids, you know, kind of walking right by my side as well. I'm going to start with the seniors who are not here. I'd like to start with number 8, Vinnie Severe. Vinnie is one of, if not the most outstanding young men that I've ever had the pleasure of teaching and coaching. I had him in my biology class, honors class, his sophomore year, and he was, a member of the football team, and I was getting involved with the football program. He was a member of the wrestling team, and I was always at all of Coach Mulligan's at-home matches and trying to be as involved as possible. And Vinnie really just kind of stood out to me right away. Just his level of maturity and his sense of awareness and the things that he would say and his intuitiveness in the classroom was really outstanding. And then we got to this fall, and he had his football season, which Coach Mulligan will obviously speak about, but I grew a little bit closer to Vinnie in that football season and really learned a lot about him and a lot from him. And one day he came up to me in practice and said, "Coach, I think we're going to play baseball this year." Never having played baseball before, I said, "Yes, come." Because even if the kid couldn't tie his shoes or chew gum and walk at the same time, it didn't matter, because Vinnie is the type of kid that you want on your team regardless of what it is. And he ended up having such a significant impact. He ended up starting almost every single game at second base. He had a little spark of energy to the lineup. It was really a great addition, and I believe it was one of the previous coaches had mentioned that it's one of those kids that you just wish you had for 4 years, and I genuinely do. And I'm very grateful for a kid like Vinnie Severe. So wherever you are, Vinnie, thank you. I appreciate you, and look forward to wrapping up the season on Monday. Next is number 15, Blake Cipata. Blake is one of the hardest working kids that I've seen here. Again, he was another one of those kids who was a football guy, really committed himself to that, worked hard, and achieved a lot of things on the football field, and he wanted to branch out. And similar to Vinnie, he's a team sport guy. And I think that says a lot about a kid. Basically, as a male athlete here, you're choosing, if you want to play a sport, you're choosing between track and baseball, and those are pretty much the two options at this point. And for them to want to make the jump to baseball, even though it's a much more challenging thing to adapt to for someone who hasn't done it before, I give both of those kids a lot of credit. And Blake ended up being another tremendous asset, kind of a surprise asset. He came out last year before our season was lost, and he wanted to be a catcher. He's a big kid, very strong, wanted to learn the game, and losing last season kind of hurt him in his ability to kind of grow and develop, especially at that position. But he played for us for some of you may know, we had the Last Dance tournament last summer. And it was just basically a kind of consolation tournament for all the teams in New Jersey that didn't get to play their season last spring. And he was there every day, and he was working hard, and he caught for us. And unfortunately, Blake had a minor injury in football season that prevented him from catching for us. So he made the adjustment. He wanted to go play first base. He ended up starting about half of our games at first base. He ended up playing a very solid defense for us, adding a little bit of power to the lineup. And again, he's another one of those kids that you're just grateful that decided to come out. So Blake, again, wherever you are, thank you, and I appreciate you. Next we have number 2, Kevin Ortiz. Kevin Ortiz is a 3-year program player, started his sophomore season. Kevin has a great attitude, great energy, great mind for baseball. He's always kind of in your ear, asking questions, what's going on, wanting to learn more and absorb more about the game. Unfortunately, Kevin had a few obstacles earlier this season with travel restrictions and a COVID breakout that kept him home for a little while. But when he came back, and even before he came back, he was really excited. He was texting the team group all the time saying, "I can't wait to be back with you guys. I can't wait to get back on the field." And that's a great attitude, especially for a senior to have, a great influence to have on some of the younger players. So, Kevin, I thank you as well. These next 3 guys are 4-year program players, and the value of a 4-year program player is impossible to really put into words and quantify like that. But our first 4-year player is number 22, Adrian Ray. And Adrian is a stand-up kid. He's got a great work ethic. He's a great role model for some of the younger players. He came in, a little rusty, not knowing too much about the game, and really worked hard to learn the game and be such a presence for our team and for the younger players. And he is if he's not going to be on the field, if he's not going to be in the lineup, he's always looking for a role. He's looking for a job. He's looking for some way to contribute and have a positive impact on the team. And like I said, that's something that you don't find in a lot of kids. A lot of kids would be quick to say, you know what, if I'm not starting, or if I'm not playing, or if I'm not, third in the lineup, then what am I even showing up for? But he persevered, and he ended up having a nice little successful season for his senior year. Had a very successful season on the football program as well. And again, he's just one of those kids that you love to have in your program, regardless of what he brings on the field. The qualities that he brings off the field are just as beneficial. So Adrian, I thank you. This next guy, number 4, Dakota Schneelock. Cody was a 4-year player for me. Started a bunch of games his freshman year. Pretty much a 4-year starter for us. Cody stood out to me the first day he showed up because he has one of the best baseball instincts. A baseball instinct, you cannot coach that. You cannot teach that, you can't practice it. Baseball instinct just comes from loving the game and being in the moment and knowing what's going on around you. And there's so many little things going on the baseball field at every second of every pitch. To the outside world, baseball's boring, it's slow, right? It's just pitcher, catcher, playing catch, ball gets put into play for a couple seconds a game, and that's it. All right, but for ball players, it's a lot more than that. Every little inch matters. Every little advantage that you can get has a pretty severe impact on the game. And Cody, nobody got those advantages better than Cody. Whether it's taking another step on a lead, or working out in front and fighting off the pitch, or pitch selection with him was huge. His pitch location as a pitcher was tremendous. Cody's the type of kid that he makes you love you. And then he will drive you nuts at the same time. And I think that's just a result of him being kind of so focused on what he's doing that, he really gives his all to whatever it is that he's into. He really, really dives into things, and that's a great quality to have. But it'll also drive you nuts because, Coach, I was getting the lift in and I was late to practice, I'm sorry. You want to be mad at the kid, but at the same time, he's working hard toward a goal. So I hope Cody tries to extend his baseball playing career, whatever he ends up doing, whether he ends up going to school or not, because he is a tremendous talent and has a lot of potential to be successful. So thank you, Cody. And last but not least, number 7, Ian Spinoza. Ian is here tonight. Ian is a 4-year player, 4-year starter, senior captain, everything under the sun. And Ian was the kid when I first got this position and we were approaching my first season as a head coach, and I'm talking to people in the community and I'm trying to just basically get my face out there, my name out there. I can't tell you, there's probably, 8 or 10 different people who said, I know this kid, Ian Spinoza, he's in 8th grade, he's coming up, he's going to do big things for you. And right away, that's a tough standard to set for a kid. But he really stepped up, and as soon as he showed up his freshman year, I knew, this is the type of kid that you build a program around. This isn't the type of kid who's going to come in and play for himself and have that kind of me mentality. He's the type of kid who you build around because he's just a tremendous talent, tremendous work ethic, tremendous leader, and I couldn't be more proud of what he's accomplished over the last 4 years. Now, unfortunately, though his first 2 seasons, I'm not going to bring any negative attention to the program, but we struggled. We had some tough games. And I don't just mean losing games. I mean kind of really struggling to hold our own on the field. And for Ian to be able to persevere through that and be the guy who sets the tone and, kind of keep his head up and be a leader for the rest of the kids to follow, ever since he was even a freshman and a sophomore, that's a tremendous burden for him to carry. But he did a really good job of it. And it really paid off for him because this year he absolutely broke out. I mean, in the first 2 weeks of the season, I don't think there was a single ball that wasn't hit hard up the middle. He really started to get his name out there, started to draw some real good attention to himself and to the program. And I know I'm not technically allowed to share any of the all-league honors yet because it's not official, but he was right there in that conversation, and yeah, that's really all I can say about that for right now. So Ian, regardless of what your future holds, regardless of where you end up in your life, I'm grateful that you were the guy that came up with me through my first 4 years, and you were the guy who I knew I could count on and I could rely on to do the right thing, and you were the guy who was kind of the staple of this team for the last 4 years. And what you've done here, and the fact that you're able to go out, we got a few wins this year after a very difficult 2019 and even more difficult 2020. I couldn't be happier for you. I couldn't be more grateful for you and more proud of you. So thank you. Ian, come on up here. And
Coach Estacio, Coach Mulligan, and Coach Dare for baseball. Next up, we have Coach Ed Garrison for track and field, along with assistant coaches Brian Swain and Brian Press.
Welcome everybody tonight, especially administrators and parents and athletes. I've been doing this for quite a long time, and I always enjoy this night at Elmwood Park and that. Coached at different schools, but this really seems to be a great community from top to bottom. And you know, the track program here, I must say, the kids really have come together in that. But I'd just like to thank Mr. Basil, Ms. Cardone, and Ms. LaBianco for their support this year. They have tremendous working with us. And I guess the best thing is when we don't have to bother them during the season, and you know, we try to just run the program on our own. And I'd also like to thank my assistant coaches, Mr. Press and Mr. Swain. We're a boys and girls program, and we only have 3 coaches. And this year, you know, we used to have about 80, 90 kids come out. This year was a little bit of a shock. There were only 40-something boys and girls. And, you know, at the very beginning of the season, we were sort of looking at each other and saying, what are we going to do? Because track is about numbers. You need numbers. There's 16 events in the sport. And the other thing is that, you know, it's a very technical sport. So when we had the 43 boys and girls, out of them, only 14 had actually competed, you know, prior to COVID and that. So here we are with, what, 20-something literally new athletes on the team. And we said, how are we going to do it? You know, like, we want to devote time to both the veterans, you know, that have been with us, and, you know, to the new athletes. Because our motto is we coach everybody. Good, bad, whatever. In track and field, everybody gets the same time from us. So anyway, as the season began, we had to thank our seniors, okay? And, you know, they were the ones that got the team together. You know, especially I want to mention Gianna Sullivan, Akash Sawan, and a junior, Jensen Castillo. And they relied on social media to get things going. And they started putting together a team. It started to work. And, you know, ironically, with everything going on, I've been doing this a long time. Like I said, this was one of our most successful seasons ever with virtually all new athletes. So it goes to show you that we had faith in them, they had faith in us, and it all seemed to work out. And, you know, the league was realigned in 2013. And I must say that, you know, once again, our boys and girls teams had the most success in, 8 years this year. So it goes to show you that, you know, like, if you can get people to believe in your program, which we've been able to do here, success will follow. And we had a lot of success along the way. One other thing I just want to mention before I call up the athletes is that basically in track and field, we have league competition and we have major meets. And in major meets, we go, probably the only sport, I think, in Elmwood Park and many other places, we go up against Don Bosco Bergen Catholic. We go up against all these Group 4 huge schools in major meets. And ironically, we had one of our highest point total, medal totals ever. We scored over 120 medals this season, which is, like I'm saying, it just doesn't happen that often. And one of our major highlights, although our boys, the win-loss total doesn't really show anything because in track and field, we were within 10 points of winning many meets. But our major highlight was, this was the first time we beat boys and girls Garfield in over 8 years. So that was a pretty big accomplishment for us. Garfield's one of the best programs. Anyway, as far as that goes, we were extremely happy, and we feel we have a lot to look forward to because our underclassmen already, there was a freshman sophomore championship, and we had 3 of the boys and 1 of the girls scoring against all these big teams. What was it, yesterday? Yesterday it was, right? Against, and you had to see it, one of our kids, Adrian Ray, right? Which is, Adrian's like 5'2" maybe, and you had to see like some of the kids about, I mean, Adrian took 5th in 100, one of the toughest events. So what we're trying to say is that we hope working together, it's been a pleasure with them. Now, for our seniors, we'd like to bring up our seniors who are here right now. We had 6 seniors, and like I said, they were the ones that really put it together. Maria, Tasiva, Gianna, we'd like you to come up now also. And then we have Cody and Alex. You guys come up, and we also have Josh and Rashad who are not here tonight. Now, they've been with us from the very beginning for 4 years, except for Albie sort of reminded me that I kept saying, Albie, I can't remember you freshman year, right, Albie? Because Albie said, Coach, I wasn't there freshman year. But like I'm saying, thank God Albie did come up. And, you know, we appreciate the help that we get from soccer and other sports because, as you'll hear a little bit about Albie, super talented athlete. So let me start off with, I want to start with Gianna Sullivan. And Gianna was the one who really put things together this year through social media and that. She took on the responsibility of contacting the team during the off season, posting things out there, getting them during the cold months together, you know, got them out there and that. And if it probably wasn't for her, who knows? But she really took that initiative, and we really appreciated that. When the season began, many coaches and officials who came to our tri-meets said, once again, they commented how organized our team was. And I must say that our captains, it was Gianna, it was Albie, Alex, Maria, they were the ones that put this together. And track is like a circus. 16 events, you can imagine, everything going on at the same time, and they got it together. And they made Elmwood Park very proud, you know, that we hear that from officials. As far as she went, the season went for her this year, she was able to basically be an assistant coach since we needed a lot of help. We had a lot of new athletes. And she took the hurdlers, and it was amazing what she did with them. She literally taught them how to hurdle. Because I'm running around, Coach Press is running around. We're trying to, you know, we're coaching a lot of different events and that. And probably, as usual, our hurdles are one of our most successful events as far as that goes in that. And it was primarily thanks to Gianna for doing that. So, like I'm saying, she'll make a great assistant coach someday. In terms of her performance, it was great that even missing a year, since 2013, I keep all the point totals, basically, pretty much, I've had them. And Gianna was 10th out of probably, what, how many, 90, 100 plus girls, if not more since then, in terms of points. She scored 63.58 points, and that was the 10th leading point scorer. And she excelled in 100 hurdles, 400 hurdles, and she did the long jump for us. We're pretty happy. We're working right now. She's probably going to compete at Felicia next year. We're contacting the coach, and I know he'll be very lucky to get Gianna on the team. She's an amazing young lady. So Gianna, thank you very much for everything. Next, you'll hear more about her later, so I don't want to steal Coach Press and our wrestling coach Mulligan. So I'm going to just keep Maria in terms of track and that, obviously in that. And Maria, like I said, well, I haven't said it yet, but she's been the leading point scorer since 2013. She scored 287.40 points. Now, basically, you get in major meets 10 points for first, 5 points for first in smaller meets, but to amass that many points in 3 years, probably all my years going, it's amazing how many points. Maria literally, since freshman year, won the discus, shot put, or placed in the top 3 in all the league meets, and the high jump also. She did the high jump. So it's amazing in that. And one of the things about Maria is that she's like Miss Elmwood Park when it comes to track. When people see her at meets, everybody knows her, whether it be the athletes, the officials, the coaches. She just, she exudes that, that she personifies, like I'm saying, an Elmwood Park athlete as far as that goes. And sportsmanship is one of the things we value. Maria definitely is a great sport in what she does in that. The one thing that people don't know, and I just want to bring this up from Maria, it's a positive thing, so don't take it negatively, but hardest part of coaching her, Coach Swain will agree that, she never believed in herself in track and field. Now, I don't know how wrestling and soccer was, but Maria had a very tough time believing in her ability, yet she won consistently in the event. But if you saw her before meets, as Coach Swain will tell you, she was always a nervous wreck. We'd be talking on the phone, get Maria to the high jump, get Maria here and there and that. And, like Maria, I just want to tell you, you really have that confidence in yourself because you're an amazing athlete. You'll go very far as far as that goes in that. So she'll be competing in one last meet. She took second in the shot discus in the league. She'll make all league, let's put it that way there. If she qualifies this Saturday, she'll move on to the state group championship. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that Maria will have a good meet like she's had in the past in that, and she'll advance to April 12th. So Maria, thank you very much, and it's been great having you for you. So we have 2 more boys here tonight. I'll start off with Albie. Albie was just, I want to say, amazing this year. We had a lot of soccer players on the team, and Albie chose to come out this year for whatever reason, and like I'm saying, thank God he did. I'll just say it very simply, because what he did this year in having missed last year was amazing, and probably some of the toughest events. He was on his way to becoming the top long jump, triple jump, and 100-meter athlete in the conference. Basically, Albie was winning meets and try meets. And then all of a sudden, about halfway through the season, he sort of tore, well, not tore, but he injured his hamstring pretty significantly. And we had to shut him down. Slavianko worked with him. He was doing so well that he was honored in the Bergen record for having won 4 events against Manchester and Pompton Lakes in one meet. So he beat 2 teams 4 times. He won 4 events against them. And he did this consistently until his injury took him away. Had he been with the boys in the league meet, we would have done even better. We really missed him, as far as that goes. But the one thing that I think as coaches we're so proud of is that when adversity struck Albie, that's when he really showed his value as a team leader. Okay? He came every day, which sometimes our athletes don't do, but every day to practice to help coach, to motivate, all right? To be there with the team in that. And like I'm saying, that's what makes him a standout as far as that goes. Well, this Friday and Saturday, Albie is back to compete in the state championship. And we'll knock on wood, whatever you want to say, but everybody would say a little prayer for Albie that basically he stays healthy, because if he achieves what he achieved during the season, he'll advance also to the state groups. And I just want to say, Albie, that like I said, we're just so proud of you for what you've done this season, and hopefully continue on. Thank you very much, Albie. He finished 3rd on our all-time point scoring list. Like I said, that goes back over 11 years with 115 points, missing half a season, missing freshman year. So, all right, finally, I'm going to leave it up to one of my all-time, and I can say it's one of my all-time favorites, Alex Latuma. As far as athletes, hard-working athletes go, we've been fortunate here over the last couple of years. We talk about Barry, and I think Alex certainly, fits into the category of just such a likable young man. He's a distance runner. This year he scored a lot of points in major meets in that as far as that goes. But the one thing is about Alex, he's always there. And I think, the cross-country coach said that basically he goes beyond what he really needs to do. And, when the workout's over, Alex basically took our distance runners and cooled them down and did all these major important things. And I can just say this, having taught and coached a lot of people, he is genuine. I use the word genuine. He's a genuine young man, all right? He's an extreme gentleman, and, we had to talk about his future, and he said, I don't know, Coach, if I'm going to be going to college. But I'll tell you what, Alex, you can do anything you want to because of your motivation as a young man, and you give it 100% no matter what you do. And every team should have an Alex on their team because of his hard work and encouragement and everything he does. So I could just say, Alex, it's hard to meet a nicer, more conscientious young man than you. And, go for it in the future and good luck with everything. So we have some gifts for our athletes, but that's for guys. You made a great gift for all of us.
Thank you, coaches, for track and field. Next up, we have Coach Tom Mulligan, who's going to recognize the football team as well as the wrestling team. Assistant coaches, Kyle Griffin, Coach Dare, Steve Estacio, and Coach Muri, also with wrestling. Come up.
Good evening. Before I begin, I'd just like to thank the administration, Mr. Iacchetti, the Board of Ed, Mr. Basil, Mrs. Cardone, Mr. Schmidt, and Mrs. Babianco for everything they did for us this season for both football and wrestling, especially football. That was the first season we had, so it wasn't, we were kind of in uncharted waters, but thank you very much to Mrs. Babianco and Mr. Basil for, like every other coach, sitting down there today, taking our temperatures, making sure we're doing the right things, and if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't have been able to get the fall off, so I just want to thank you guys very much. I also want to thank Mr. Beninati and the maintenance and custodial staff for everything they do for us, whether it's lining the fields, whether it's setting up a new place for us to practice, making sure the game day feels ready, just everything they do. A lot of stuff gets unnoticed, but just want them to know we appreciate them. And can't thank my football staff enough. They are with me every day. They help with everything. Probably one of the best staffs in my 7 years here that I've had as far as work ethic and knowledge of the game, so I just want to thank them. And I know I'm jumping around right now, but Coach Murray's up here for wrestling. I just want to recognize him and Coach Garrison for both getting selected into the NJSIAA Hall of Fame this year. Congratulations, guys. So the 2020 football season was a distant thought early on in the year, especially with the early months of the pandemic. And I think it was an absolute miracle that we were able to get it in. However, though, this season was incredible. It's what the community needed. It's what these kids needed. It's just what we all needed around here in Elmwood Park football. This year, our group of kids weren't the most talented group of kids I ever had, but they were probably one of the closest, and they were easily a few of the toughest kids I've ever coached too. So you put that together right there, that's a recipe for success. they held people accountable and they held each other accountable for what they wanted. And that's why we were able to do the things we did this year. We were able to snap a 20-game losing streak on October 9th when we beat Pagoda 14-6. And then the next week we were able to follow up with a 20-0 shutout over Pal Park Leonia, giving us our first winning streak since 2014. These kids deserved everything they got that night on October 9th. Every tweet that was sent out from Varsity Aces, every article that was written about them in the next few days coming. We had one guy named NJIC Player of the Week by NJ.com, and they just deserved everything that they got. It was probably one of the best feelings I've had as a coach, being able to hug them and see tears of happiness and not tears of sadness that we unfortunately didn't win another game. But it was, it's all because of these guys. I'm jumping all over the place right now, I'm sorry. Let me just call these seniors up right now, the ones who are here. Back to you guys, come up. All three of you, come on. Unfortunately, not the whole group is here, but this group of 10 seniors that we have this year were the reason why we were able to grab an unofficial share of the Union Division Championship, right? That's still being debated now by the conference. The fall sports shutdown might have stopped our season, but everyone in our conference and everyone on the conference executive board knows that these kids deserve to be champions. This group brought this town and our school together and restored the pride in our football program. And we as coaches, thank you for trusting in us, believing, and buying in. It is my pleasure to introduce to you the football seniors from the 2020 season. First one, we're going to talk about Jaheim Cox. He was a first-year player. Unfortunately, he's not with us tonight. He was a good addition to our team as he bought in and he did everything we asked. Next one is Carlos Arenado, another first-year guy this year. Same thing, stepped up, did whatever we asked, bought in from day one. Next up, Tyler Narayan. Unfortunately, cannot be here as well tonight. He's a very quiet kid, first-year kid, but so coachable. Thing that stands out in my mind about him is against Pagoda, key point of the game, a little pooch kick. Most kids want to pick it up and run, try and get a touchdown. He just did what he's told, fell on it, and for that he got Special Teams Player of the Week. Next guy, Jose Luque. Jose's been in the program for 2 years. Same thing, another one, always did everything that we asked. Didn't care about his, if he was starting, just stepped up whenever his number was called. Next one is Jaden Rogers. Jaden came out of the program as a junior. As an individual, Jaden made great strides throughout his high school career, not only on the football field, but in life as well. Watching Jaden grow and mature into a successful young man is something that us coaches take great pride in. He selflessly gave up his dreams of being a running back and a linebacker to play the offensive and defensive line. Jaden is a big part of why we were able to have a successful season because of his selflessness. Next senior is Adrian Reynoso. Adrian took a brief hiatus from football his junior year, but came back his senior year, and as Coach Destasio mentioned before, Adrian is a guy who buys in, he does everything for his teammates, and he's one of those guys that you need on your team. Next up, Captain Blake Cipata. Blake made a commitment to himself and his program to become an every down starter, and he did just that. I would see him working out every day in the summer. His commitment is second to none. Next up, we have Captain Jason Vega. Jason Vega, if you've ever seen the movie Friday Night Lights, and you know what I'm referencing here, the player Preacher. Preacher is very quiet, very dominant on the field, and when he speaks, everyone listens, and that's Jason. His dominance on the field landed him on first team All-NJIC defensive team, into the Bergen County All-Star game, and the NJIC Player of the Week as selected by the reporters of NJ.com for his stellar performance versus Pagoda. His dominant play will be hard to replace. However, his attitude, work ethic, and effort will never be forgotten. Next up, we have Captain Jason Castillo. Jason is graduating as a 4-year program player and a 3-year starter for us. This young man may have been one of the toughest athletes to have come through this program in recent memory. He never complained and was only held out when medical staff wouldn't allow him to compete. He's a great leader, tremendous athlete, and a better person. He was named second team All-NJIC offense for his efforts. His playmaking ability will be hard to replicate, but what we will miss the most is his leadership and his character. Jason Castillo. And finally, we have Captain Vinnie Severe. Vinnie had a senior year that most athletes would dream of. He was named captain by his peers. He had himself ranked in North Jersey for tackles. He was a Heart of the Giant nominee. He was also a Minnie Maxwell Award nominee. Vinnie leads the Elmwood Park football family, leaving his mark on the program. Vinnie, along with the 9 other members of this graduating class, are the reason we were able to put ourselves in the position to be unofficial champions. He is the captain every coach wants on his roster and a high-character athlete. His leadership will be missed, as well as his other great qualities. Vinny's also not here tonight, but I just want to thank these guys especially, these seniors, these coaches up here for everything that we were able to accomplish this year was because of them. All the hours they put in, the kids too, they studied during the pandemic, they were sitting in Zoom workouts with us, sitting in Zoom meetings, and I mean that's in the summer when most kids want to be out riding their bikes and stuff. These kids were sitting in front of their laptops doing a bunch of football stuff, and it showed this year on the field. So just want to thank you guys for everything. Yeah. All right, since we're going to jump right into wrestling, I'm ready to thank everybody. This season, we saw a lot of ups and downs, especially coming off the season we had last year. Coach and I were very, very excited that we were going to be able to repeat as league champs. But unfortunately, with the pandemic and wrestling being such a close contact sport, a lot of parents didn't feel comfortable letting their kids wrestle. A lot of kids didn't feel comfortable wrestling, so we just said, okay. We tried to figure it out. We went out and we got more and new kids to replace them. And we were looking pretty good again. I thought we were going to make a nice run at another league title. But then, unfortunately, COVID hit some of those families, and our roster went from 20 to 16 to 10 down to 6. But that didn't stop the boys and girls that were in that room every day. Whether there was 4 or 6 of them, they still worked like there was 34 like there was last year. They were putting everything they had in at every practice, every drill session. And I just can't thank them enough for what they did for us this year. We said everywhere we go, we're going to be the toughest people in the gym, and that's exactly what we were. We went to matches knowing mathematically, like, hey, we're not going to win this one. And we would come out head-to-head winning 4 matches to 1, 3 to 2. One match we won 4, 4 matches lost 2. So we were able to pull about 12 wins out of our 14-match schedule just on head-to-head bouts alone. Unfortunately, it doesn't show it in the scoreboard, but it is what it is. Coach Murray did a great job for us this year. Does a great job every year getting the kids ready to wrestle. We're just so lucky to have him on staff still. Yeah, the other thing he does, he's big into female wrestling. Because of him, we were able to host the first Bergen County girls wrestling tournament last year here. He's also on the state board of girls wrestling, which is great too. Unfortunately, we couldn't host this year due to COVID restrictions, but we're hoping we get it back next year. We have 4 seniors we're going to honor tonight. They are Jaden Logostetis, Jason Longacre, and then the 2 females, Vanya Zaninovich and Maria Teseva. I know Vanya and Maria are here, so can you please come up? As they're making their way up, I just do want to thank again Mr. Warner, Mr. Samuels, Mrs. Labianco, Mr. Basil, the custodial staff, because this year, I mean, faced with wrestling in the spring, it was really unusual, but they were all behind the idea of wrestling a match outside. And it was awesome for these kids. You got to wrestle on the football field. Unfortunately, it was a rainy day, but that didn't matter. Seeing the smiles come off their faces when they were done wrestling, they said it was like a slip and slide. They had the time of their life. It was just seeing them smile in the middle of all this pandemic was just phenomenal. And thank you guys again for letting us do that. Jason and Jaden were both 4-year members of our program. They're integral parts of our success over the past 4 years. They will be greatly missed. But on to the females who are here. Both of them are graduating with probably some of the most decorated wrestling careers in school history, especially in female history in our school, but within all together too. Vanya made tremendous progress from her junior to her senior year. As a senior, she placed 3rd in the Bergen County Women's Coaches Association tournament and 5th in the region, missing out of the state tournament by 1 match. She was also selected to 1st team All-Bergen County Girls Wrestling and named to 2nd team All-North Jersey Girls Wrestling. She is a high-character young lady with a great head on her shoulders, and I cannot wait to hear of her future success. Vanya's in there. Next up, we have Maria Teseva. Maria graduates Elmwood Park High School as one of the most decorated athletes in school history. Maria is the first Elmwood Park or East Patterson wrestler to make it to the state final since 1964 when Coach Gallagher won the school's only state championship. Maria graduates as a 3-time state medalist, 2-time 1st team All-Bergen County wrestler, 2-time All-North Jersey 1st team wrestler, and has been nominated for the Girls Wrestler of the Year twice. She has also recently signed a letter of intent to play college soccer at Bloomfield College. Maria Teseva. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Mulligan, Coach Bury for wrestling. And football. Next up, we have Coach Katie Hackett for season cheer.
So this football season, in the fall, it was much different than anybody had ever anticipated. But I have to say, our seniors really took it to a whole new level, and amongst all the chaos, they seemed to still hold their heads up high, even when it seemed really low. I was lucky enough to be able to coach these girls. They were not only talented, but they kept their heads high. Nothing beats a Friday night game under the lights with the crowd, the cheers going, the band playing, and of course the football team giving us something to be excited for. Even though this year may have looked different, we still had those familiar comforts, even if we were 6 feet apart. The 5 of you, Sarah, Jasmine, Michaela, Caitlin, and Shania, thank you again for having me as your coach, and thank you for your amazing attitudes, even when it didn't go as planned. So I'll bring them up. Girls, you can come up. There's 3, Michaela, Sarah, and Caitlin are here. So I'll start with the 2 that aren't. So Shania, I've never seen a more versatile young woman in my life. She started off the season as a base, which, for those of us who don't know, are basically holding up girls in the air, and they're powerhouses. And then she's quickly switched to a flyer when we became in need of one, which are light, graceful, flexible. And she gave the best of both worlds in all situations, and I don't know what we will do without having that girl that I could switch on and off at the drop of a dime. So EQ will miss you like crazy, and I can't wait to see you grow as an individual. Jasmine, we started together when you were just on JV. Thinking back, she has overcome a lot of fears. Jasmine was new, just like me, and she's not here, but if you look at her, she's like this big. And I needed her to fly, and she did not want to. So telling somebody at practice one day, hey, you're going in the air today, she definitely was not up for it, but I have to say, she really stood up against herself, and she overcame a lot of fears, and I'm going to miss that. And I want her to go through life with that same attitude. Caitlin, we've basically talked before. Again, I can't say it enough, she is an adult trapped in a child's body, and her parents are so lucky to have her. I'm going to miss her crazy. I have to flip my page, sorry. Sarah, I love your fighting spirit. She's never one to give up. Even when something lets her down, she doesn't dwell on it. I know adults, including myself, that would kill for that characteristic. You have patience unlike any other person I've ever met. And for those of you who don't know, Sarah got a full ride to Berkeley College to study interior design in the fall. So good job. You're an incredibly smart young woman, very intelligent, and I can't wait to see the things you accomplish, and Evie's going to miss you like crazy. And of course, last but not least, we have Michaela, and we talked about her before too. Look at her, she flew for me, and she does it with such grace and such poise that I don't even know who's going to take your spot. I'm kind of scared. I'm scared. So, thank you so much for allowing me to speak. And I have a gift for them as well.
Thank you, Coach Hackett, the season cheer. Next up, boys basketball, Coach Kevin Tui, Assistant Coach Marcus Jimenez, and Assistant Coach Matthew Gay.
Okay, first I would like to thank Mr. Basil, the administration, Board of Education for their support throughout our season. I want to thank my great assistant coaches for helping me out and making my job as a head coach easy. There's a lot of preparation, planning going into our games, scouting, skill development, and just overall schemes going into our game plan. I want to thank Ms. LaBianco for taking temperatures, following protocols, and all that good stuff. But she prepared me for a much crazier and season that I expected coming into the winter. Ms. Cardone, Ms. Schmidt, Ms. LaBianco to make everything run smoothly. This season we began as a young and inexperienced team that overcame hurdles and finished 8-7 overall. We demonstrated toughness and battled through tough games in the season. The season was like any other dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. Knowing we were going into the season without any fans, no holiday tournaments, no county tournaments, no state tournaments, we had to change that negative mindset and set positive goals to achieve. As teams around us were dealing with shutdowns, every day you just found out a team was shutting down. So to be honest, I didn't really think we were going to get all 15 games in. We were just grateful we were just playing, and I told the kids, let's just get to one practice, let's try to get to the first scrimmage, and then once we got through all that, we ended up getting to our first game. Even though uncertain who we were playing each week, we had to overcome battle. There was one week throughout the season where we lost a shooter over the last few years. This year he made over 30 three-pointers in our 15 games, and he averaged about 8 points per game. He was a huge asset to our team because of his knowledge of the game, as you see, the male scholar athlete, and became another coach out there helping teaching the underclassmen. I just want to thank all the families, all the players for the hard work they put into their high school careers. I want to thank all the seniors that are here today to getting their seasons all completed. And I just wish everyone the best in the future. And I hope you enjoyed everything as much as I did. And all the seniors are welcome back next year. And hopefully we see them at our games with some fans in there. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach Tui and the basketball program. And last for the team awards, the girls soccer team, Coach Brian Press and Coach Kate Capizzi. I would like to thank Coach Capizzi for consistently doing the slideshow for us that we have up here. She does a great job, so thank you. She does it each year, so thank you again.
All right, good evening, everybody. As everybody has done, I would like to thank Mr. Basil, our administration, Board of Education, Elmwood Park, Athletic Hall of Fame, maintenance, custodial staff, just everybody that does everything behind the scenes. Mrs. Schmidt, Mrs. Cardone, standard, Mrs. LaBianco, I guess, you get it, right? We appreciate you, thank you. But honestly, truly. So 2020, Elmwood Park girls soccer team, we finished with the final record of 5-3. Of course, this was a heavily abbreviated season, unfortunately, for all of our athletic programs here. But regardless of that, it was our third straight season finishing above 500. And the third season in a row where we made the state tournament, which was never even a thing before the past several years, which is awesome for us. So we were headed to Pascack Hills for our second straight state tournament in a row, but unfortunately we got shut down early. But absolutely celebrate another successful season for the Lady Crusaders. Just as Coach Basil had, this group for me was very special because it was my first class. They came in with me in my first year as freshmen, and now they're graduating after 4 years. And some of them I even had in class in middle school. So it's definitely a special group, and I appreciate them sticking with me and coming in with me as freshmen, and so on. So if I could have my seniors, Debbie, Michelle, and Maria, come on up so I can talk to you guys. Get my feet. I'll just start talking as you guys make your ways up, it's okay. So first up, we have Debbie Briggs, okay? Debbie, for those of you that don't know her, first impression when you see her, she comes off as this quiet, shy, unassuming, she just has that first impression type of person. But if you see her on the field, the tenacity that she has, she'll literally take you out of your cleats, with whatever random move that she decides to pull along the tight roping the sidelines or making some type of cross, all while bodying you off the ball. She rarely made a mistake, and she literally can juggle until she decides that she doesn't want to juggle anymore. She's an insanely smart person who provided constant feedback to me and assisted me with whatever strategies I needed throughout the years. You just have a brain and a love for soccer, and it's just, you can't teach that at all. And she really proves the point to be true, that you don't have to be this vocal, loud leader that's always barking all the time to be a leader, all right? She's led by example all the time. She was literally, I think I could count the amount of times that she was off the field since coming onto the team as a freshman, right? I don't even know how many times she came off the field. And I honestly felt bad for her sometimes, just watching her up and down that outside midfield position. I said, sorry, Deb, I don't have anybody to put you in for, but I appreciate you. But one thing that I always noticed about Debbie was the way that her teammates appreciated her, whether it was people that graduated, that have moved on, or underclassmen. The amount of respect and love and care that they had for her just was like no other. And it was really something that was admirable for me, and that spoke volumes. Because again, as Mulligan said before, about Jason Vega, when Debbie spoke, everybody listened, because it was always something valuable. And everything she exudes was just work ethic. So Deb, I appreciate you. Deb, you will be going to Seton Hall in the fall. Biology on a PA track, right? PA school, no big deal, all right? All right, next up, we've seen her a few times coming up and down the stage, Michelle Montiel. The story, I'll make it quick, she already knows the story, but my first year teaching here, I had her in 7th grade writing lab with quite a cast of characters in that class. Some of you were in that class. Ian, I know you were in there. Cody was in there. People like Rashid, whoever, just chaos in that class. And I walk in, it's my first year at EP, and I see this girl just sitting like literally directly in the middle of the room. And she's calm and collected, and I could just see like this girl, she's matured, she's focused. And these people were her friends. It wasn't like she was above any of them, but I could just see that the maturity that she had was something that I felt, and then it just continued to ring true throughout the rest of the several years that we worked together. Along with the two other seniors that are on the stage right now, she stepped onto the field as a freshman, and unless conditions caused her to, never left that field. She was thrust onto the field as a freshman into an extremely important role. As a young player on defense, just putting her in the back against a very tough division, against your Glen Rocks and your Rutherfords and your Hawthorns of the world. And she was putting center back and outside back and having to take on these tremendous forwards. And she just beasted all the time. She worked harder every offseason, showed up in better shape, a better athlete literally every single year. And that was just a testament to her. She's an awesome, dynamic athlete. She never stopped going. But what for me is just her voice, nonstop, and in the best way possible. Literally, she's always chirping, always talking, always communicating, on the field, off the field, supporting, directing, commanding, criticizing if they needed it, just pushing them. She was that voice who was always here, nonstop. And for me, I'm always preaching to these girls, and in soccer, you need to talk. You always need to talk, and Michelle was nonstop with talking. So for that, I appreciate it. Obviously, if you want to talk about perseverance, we could talk about perseverance, somebody that overcame 2 tremendous, significant injuries and still came back. We could talk about multitasking, holding down multiple jobs while still being a captain of a soccer team and holding down a tremendous National Honor Society, all that. We could talk about maturity. You want to talk about somebody that had to handle things for herself that made people have no idea how to do at all. But I'm lucky that she was basically my other assistant coach throughout her time with me, whether she was on or off the field. And she knows when she heard, her first injury freshman year, when she went down, it almost broke my heart. So I was lucky I didn't see her this year in person, because that would have been a disaster. But either way, she's a rock star, and I appreciate everything that she's ever done, and really one of my most favorite people that I've experienced in my 7 years now in Elmwood Park, whether it's a coach or a teacher or a student or whatever. She's headed off to Rutgers, New Brunswick in the fall. Another biology major, medical school, okay, nice job. Thanks, Michelle. And then last, Maria, I guess we could talk about you. For this group, it's really been difficult for me for so long to grasp my mind around the fact that all 3 of these girls are not going to be on my team next season, because again, this is my first class for 4 years. And I really, really have been dreading the day that goalie over there isn't going to be there in the summer when we take the pitch when we step on the field. And I'm going to think about this, because Maria for years begged me, if we're in a game that's at hand, perhaps it's a blowout, whatever. Luckily, we found ourselves in that position over these years. She said, "Coach, can you put me in the field? Can you put me in the field?" I'd say, "We'll see, we'll see." It never happened. I never put her out there. It was cut short, but whatever. But also now I think about it, and it was kind of payback for me, because freshman year, remember when you went to Macedonia for a month and left us all for like 4 games? So it worked out, all right? So I don't really feel bad about that. But regardless, I have all the love for Maria and her family and everything like that. Talent level in Maria, we know that. She's multiple sports, just multiple everything all the time. She was 3-time All-League, 2-time second team, 1-time first league. She's currently ranked as the 19th active leader in career saves in the entire state of New Jersey with 470 saves. So, thanks for stopping me. And so, she's objectively respected among all teams that have seen her. I mean, obviously her size helps, but I think it takes a different type of person to be a goalkeeper. Goalies are just a different breed. And even though for some reason Maria thought that she wasn't going to be my goalie coming into freshman year, she was. I mean, she had the perfect combination of tenacity, fearlessness, and most importantly, mental toughness. And she has an enormous personality and literally becomes best friend of anywhere that she goes, and it's literally insanely annoying, but we love her. She really didn't want to play goalie. Coming in, she did not want to play goalie when she first came in. We had tears, we had the whole show, we had the whole sit down, that whole thing. But she trusted my plan, right? Trusted my plan and sacrificed her own feelings for the team. And although you need many parts to succeed in soccer, because there's 11 people on the field, you won't succeed without a goal. You could have the best scorers in the world, you could do so many things, but that ball is going to get back there. And she just made so many plays above and beyond that just blew my mind. There were certain times I was like, well, that's going to be a goal. And then she just pulled some like crazy save I've never seen that a professional league might even make. But, you know, Maria, you know, always had my back, always the double fist bump with your disgusting gloves before every game, but I appreciate that. She will be playing at Bloomfield at the next level. She received athletic scholarship to do that, and she will be doing international studies, okay? International business study management. You know, and as you said to me, you won't be far away. I know you'll be always there to help me. Coach Pizzi, sorry, you were there, but you know, I moved fast. I appreciate you coming back. She was without us last year. She came back ready to rock after maternity leave, and then it was cut short, but she's my right-hand man and reminds me of so many things. I would be lost without her. So I appreciate you, Coach. And that's it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Coach Press and Coach Capizzi, girls soccer. I just want to recognize one of our head coaches who received a great accomplishment over the past year. We weren't able to recognize him last year because we did not have a banquet or an award ceremony. So one of our head coaches and one of our assistant coaches was recognized for Ridgefield Park in the Hall of Fame. Mr. Ed Garrison, please come up. Mr. Ed Garrison, our head coach, track and field, and congratulations on the 2020 induction into the NJSCA Hall of Fame. Our athletes are proud to be led by a coach, mentor, and leader like you. Again, Coach Garrison has been with us, I believe it's 4 years, 5 years? 6 years, 6 years. Goes by quick. But does a tremendous job with our student athletes. Again, you know, he talked about the numbers of student athletes that we have for the track and field team over the past few years. You know, unfortunately, the pandemic hit us kind of hard with the numbers, but hopefully we rebound back next year and we get those numbers back to where they were. Next up, we're going to get into the final special awards. Giving out the Mike Powers Award is going to be Coach Kevin Toohey.
All right, it's a privilege to hand out the Mike Powers Award. If you don't know anything about Coach Mike Powers, he unfortunately passed away from cancer in 2003 after leading the Elmwood Park boys basketball team to a state championship title. I was a volunteer assistant back then. Yes, I was here back in 2003. I was 18 years old. I knew Coach Powers because he coached with me prior to coming to Elmwood Park at Passaic Valley for 3 years. He was one of my mentors. He was one of my inspirations to be a head coach. So to watch him coach that season, going through cancer treatment and chemotherapy and finding time to not missing any games, not missing any practices, having the same energy throughout his whole process, and just to give this award is a real privilege. So to someone who received this award is someone who shows courage, determination, working through a tough battle, and this year it was a battle for everyone, but there was one player on my team who I thought was really deserving of this award, and I gave it to Vinnie Severe, and he's a first-year basketball player, and he got this award, and I wrote a little something about him, because of his willingness to take a chance and to be a part of a team during a pandemic, even though he has never played basketball before. Vinnie took a risk out of his comfort zone and was a dedicated, committed player all season. Vinnie demonstrated determination and persistence, which are great qualities to have as he grows in the future. So the Mike Powers Award goes to Vinnie Severe.
Thank you, Coach Tui, for giving out the Mike Powers Award. Next up, with the Karen Danver Award and the Michael Horvath Award, Captain J.D. DeSantis.
Good evening. We're almost done. I look forward to this every year to be invited back to give out these awards. I'm not from the Elmwood Park community, but I'm here because of some special people and the importance of these awards. And I always have to thank Mr. Machete, Principal Werner, just for allowing me the honor and privilege to do this. It means quite a bit to me. I also want to thank Ms. Lobianco. She does all those things that keeps these kids going. And it's these type of people in these roles that don't get all that head coach type stuff that keep the teams going. Another person to thank is Ms. Cardone. She gets me the information from the coaches so that I can be up here doing what I'm doing right now. And I'd like to thank all of you very sincerely. The Horvath and Danver Awards are given for two reasons. They allow us to remember two outstanding individuals who have actually passed on and been dead longer than any of our student athletes are currently alive. But they were such people that touched hearts, and they had a love of the game. There's the key, the love of the game, that we remember them. And by having these awards, it allows us to recognize two other student athletes that have that same love of the game. Some of the years, the recipients have been the highest scorer, the best defensive player, that person that comes off the bench and ignites the game. But it's not always about the numbers. The qualifying commitment for the Horvath and Danver Award, again, is the team spirit, the team first, and again, that love of the game. I'd like to talk about the Horvath Award. I'd like to tell you what Coach Tui has to say about tonight's recipient. This young man has been part of the boys basketball program for 4 years. Coach Tui stated that being a senior and playing, he had a lot of underclassmen. And he took on that responsibility of being that senior to providing the guidance and the leadership and the things to help the younger folks come up to where he currently was as a senior. He was truly dedicated to this game. And as was said before, in the 15 games that was played this year, he did make 33-point shots, and he averaged 8 points a game. And while he's not here this evening, it's a great honor to give the Horvath Award to Chief Patel. Before I announce the Danver Award, we've been doing this for 17 years. And I would do the Horvath Award for Mike's young son, my friend Mike. His wife Donna was here tonight. He would present the Danver Award, and I would do the award for his son. But unfortunately, we lost Mike 10 years ago. And he would read off a card. He would talk about Karen's accomplishments. And he did that every year. So I'd like to keep that tradition going. And I'd like to tell you a little about Karen. In 1977, she was named to the second team All-Bergen County. Again in 77, she was named to the first team for the Patterson News. In 78, she was both the Athlete of the Week for the Bergen Record and the Star of the Week for the Patterson News. In 78, she was named to the first team All-Bergen County, averaging 31.6 points per game, and she scored 1,982 career points. The most impressive, though, I believe, of her accomplishments is in 78, she was named All-State, second team, all groups. And what makes it even better, although I found out there was a young lady here tonight that's 5'1", Karen was only 5'2". Let me talk about what Coach Cannon had to say about tonight's Danbury win. She, again, too, is a senior on this team. She took on a leadership role and responsibility. She played every position. And for those of you that know any of your sports, each position has its nuances. Whether you're a guard, a center, a forward, or whatever, you have to play what that position requires. This young lady was thrust into a position where she had to learn every one of those positions. And on the backside of it is then playing the defensive part to that. And she brought that on very well. She went from being in the starting five to being that first person off the bench, back to the starting five, back to the first person. She never complained. What she did was she saw it as an opportunity to take her game up a notch, but not for herself, but for the team, that the team moved forward. Coach Cannon described her as the glue that holds the team together. She did the things that you don't see in the box scores. Her character and the little things that aren't recorded are ultimately what led to her and the team's success. And tonight, again, this young lady is not here, but the Danbury Award is given to Shania Ramos. My friend Mike had one other tradition. He felt that the boys and girls basketball program at Elmwood Park were a very important thing to him. And he always wanted that to succeed. So every year he would donate a check so that the kids from the team could just have a couple of extra things. And I just can't think of a better way to keep their memory and my memory of my buddy Mike going. But to donate that check that he always did for $1,000 to the Elmwood Park Boys and Girls Basketball Program.
Thank you, Mr. DeSantis. We always appreciate your efforts coming here and talking to the student athletes and your very generous donation. And thank you, Ms. Horvath, for being here as well. Lastly, I'm going to recognize just 3 people real quick. You don't need to come up, but I'm just going to recognize you for all your efforts. Mrs. LaBianco, again, I think we've probably talked more about sanitizing, attestation forms, masks. I don't even know what we're doing now when it comes to getting the kids into the building. But she has been the glue to this program from day one, starting in the summertime. Pretty much probably had the most stressful job out of anyone because she dealt with every single team. Again, in COVID time, she was exposed to every single student athlete, every coach, but she did her job and she did it well. And again, she's one of the best people that I've worked with since I've been here at Elmwood Park. And she's always like my, I guess I'll say my sidekick in a way. She's always reminding me of things that I possibly don't remember to do. Like send attestation forms to her at 1 o'clock. But again, thank you for everything you do. I really appreciate you. And thank you for also being there for the student athletes and the coaches. There's 2 other individuals that I want to recognize are sitting in the back. This is Diane Schmidt. Probably has another stressful job at trying to get people to come and work for the games. And this year was probably even tougher with the fact that, again, we had a pandemic, sort of a pandemic season, and a lot of people just didn't want to be involved in being exposed to, you know, groups of people. But Mrs. Schmidt every day works hard to get us individuals to work these games. If she has to, she's there every day. So again, I want to say thank you, because I appreciate you for always being there for me and always working with the athletes and trying to get us workers at the game. So thank you again. And lastly, Mrs. Cardone, who works in my office. She pretty much runs the office. She takes care of everything. And like Mr. DeSantis said, she basically gets out all information that's needed to everyone that is asking for information, whether it's transportation, scheduling, sending out memos, anything, any correspondence to parents. I really appreciate everything that she does for me. She really does things, again, she reminds me of stuff that I may not even remember to do. But I really appreciate Mrs. Cardone for everything that she does and runs the athletic department. So thank you again, Mrs. Cardone. And lastly, we have the recognition of our girls' Athletic Achievement Award and the Boys' Athletic Achievement Award that will be handed out by Coach Tommy Mulligan.
This year's Male Athletic Achievement Award is presented to an athlete that has been a staple to all the teams that he has been a part of. He is a tremendous leader, student, and person in the community. It was a true honor and pleasure to coach this young man throughout his high school career. Having the coach-player relationship with him is something special that I will never forget, and I thank him for allowing me to be a part of his athletic journey. This athlete was a two-time captain for football, part of the Giant Harmony, and is a true leader of this school and this community. The 2021 Male Athletic Achievement Award goes to Vinnie Severe. And for the female, this year's Female Athletic Achievement Award goes to a female athlete that has recreated the record books in Elmwood Park. This student is a leader of our school community as well as athletics. She is very involved in all aspects of the school, such as clubs, the plays, and athletics. She is graduating as a three-time New Jersey State placer in wrestling, two-time first-team All-County athlete in wrestling, and a two-time All-North Jersey wrestler. She has been the pioneer for the sport of girls wrestling throughout the state and is also the first three-time girls wrestling state qualifier for Bergen County. As Coach Press said before, she is ranked 19th in active saves in the state of New Jersey. As many great wrestling accolades she has, she is actually heading to Bloomfield College on an athletic scholarship to play soccer. This year's Female Athletic Achievement Award goes to Maria Tesega.
And one last thing, I would like to recognize that Vinnie Severe and Maria Tesega were a three-sport athlete this year. They were the only two athletes that were participating in all three sports. I actually finished all three sports this year, so I wanted to recognize them for those accolades as well. Again, I want to thank all the parents for being here tonight. I know the weather wasn't great. I want to thank the administration for being here tonight, the Board of Education, all the coaches, and especially the student athletes for being here. I really appreciate you. Hopefully next year we can go back to having a banquet again. But good luck in all your future endeavors. Good luck in college, career. Again, get home safe, and thank you again for being here. Mrs. Schmidt and Mrs. Cardone, can you come to the front, please?